Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, the latest breakout to the upside just confirmed in the price of Bitcoin, but in the immediate short term, a new bearish signal is playing out right now. So in just a moment, I'll be explaining why I just sold in my trading strategy, while Ethereum is now running into critical support, while Solana is also retesting and potentially invalidating this breakout. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before getting into the Bitcoin charts today, taking a look at the Bitcoin news today, and just on Wednesday, we saw a massive net inflow, which was one of the reasons as to why Bitcoin had a massive pump on Wednesday. Because we can see here that on Wednesday, the Bitcoin ETFs had a net inflow of over 300 million US dollars. And so if we're taking a look at the numbers so far this week for the US spot Bitcoin ETFs, on Monday we saw a net inflow of 66 million, which didn't really have a major impact. But then on Tuesday, we saw a $100 million net inflow approximately into the Bitcoin ETFs, which did impact the price of Bitcoin a little bit more. We did see a bit of a pump on Tuesday. And then, of course, it was on Wednesday where we saw the massive breakout. The massive bullish move just recently was likely due to this massive net inflow coming into the Bitcoin ETFs to buy up a lot of Bitcoin. And so for anyone that's out there that still thinks the Bitcoin ETFs have no impact on the price of Bitcoin, this is just even more proof pointing towards the fact that the Bitcoin ETFs do impact the price of Bitcoin if we're seeing a significant net inflow or net outflow. And by significant, I mean a net inflow or outflow that's at least over $100 million. So for example, this $300 million inflow will impact the price of Bitcoin as we saw on Wednesday. But with that being said, taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, and as of right now, over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed on this chart right here. So on the larger timeframes, the price of Bitcoin is still technically within a larger bullish trend, with this hidden bullish divergence playing out on the 3-day timeframe. And so because not much has changed on this chart over the last 1 day, taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, and as of right now, just today, we're seeing a very, very small bounce in the DXY, which is technically a very, very small bearish signal just in the immediate short term for Bitcoin. But ultimately, the DXY is in more of a short-term bearish trend at the moment, which is technically bullish for Bitcoin and crypto in terms of the trend here on the daily timeframe. But obviously, even during these bullish trends or these larger bullish moves in the market, as I've been saying time and time again here on the channel, we can see short-term dumps and short-term pullbacks here and there, even during a larger bullish move. And so, as I always say, it is important to understand the difference between the different timeframes. On smaller timeframes, we might be looking more bearish, but when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, we're still potentially in the early stages of another major move to the upside when we're looking at the larger moves. And once again, a larger bullish move can contain short-term bearish moves. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the daily Bitcoin RSI is still technically looking more bullish than bearish, as it is breaking out to the upside and forming higher lows and higher highs, which is a bullish reversal after what we've seen over the last few months. And once again, if we're simply taking a look at the last couple of times we saw this happen in the daily Bitcoin RSI, previously this has been a major bullish signal for Bitcoin in terms of the larger move or the trend in the price. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last 1 day, we saw that breakout to the upside, which I talked about in my last video. And since my last video, we have now confirmed a daily candle close, not only above this line of resistance, but also above this previous high, confirming a new higher high in place in the price action. And so technically speaking, this is now a bullish reversal on the daily time frame, because we've reversed from lower highs and lower lows into now higher lows and higher highs, which by definition is more of a bullish trend. And so once again, when we're talking about the trend or the larger moves in the market, as of right now, we're still looking more bullish than bearish. But if we're zooming into the imminent short term, just the day-to-day price action, the much shorter term here on the 2-hour time frame, right now we have a new bearish divergence playing out as we speak. And if we're taking a look at the last bearish divergence on the 2-hour Bitcoin chart that actually played out, especially from overbought territories in the 2-hour Bitcoin RSI, that was right back here near the beginning of this month. And what came next was indeed a short-term pullback, basically a short-term bearish move that lasted for the next few days or so, but ultimately we did continue higher later on with a new higher high. And so once again, that's why I say it's important to understand the difference between the different time frames. Here in the imminent short term, possibly for the next 1 or 2 days or so, we might play out this bearish divergence. But overall, when we're zooming out, that still occurred within this bullish trend that we're starting to see form on larger time frames. But I explained in my last video that my trading strategy would be actually to take some profits at around 66,500, which we basically perfectly hit at this exact high. And one of the reasons as to why I said I'd be taking some profits around 66,500 is because that is sitting just below this high right here, acting as resistance. And we also have a lot of liquidity at around 67 to 67,500, which big players in the market are going to defend the price going towards that level, at least in the short term, which is what I said in my last video. And so when it comes to my trading strategy right now for the price of Bitcoin, as of right now, I am still in a long position, but I sold part of that position. I closed part of that position because just yesterday, this was a 300k Bitcoin long position. But as you can see right now on the left-hand side, this is now a 250k Bitcoin long position. So essentially, I sold 50k worth of Bitcoin out of this long position right here. But ultimately, I did not actually sell spot Bitcoin because this is an inverse perpetual position, which means when I sell this position or take profits out of this position, it actually pays out in Bitcoin. And so essentially by longing this move in the price of Bitcoin using an inverse perpetual swap, I'm able to turn some Bitcoin into even more Bitcoin. And so that's the situation on my Bitcoin trading strategy right now. Once again, I'm still currently long on Bitcoin. I did not close the entire trade, but I sold part of the trade. I took some profits off the table right around these local highs at around 66,500, like I said I would in my last video. And so from here, it's basically a win-win situation for this position. If we dump, then I've already taken some profits and also my stop loss is sitting in profits. But if we continue to pump, I still have the rest of the trade open. And so of course, I would continue to profit from a pump if we continue to pump. And so if you've been watching my videos over the last couple of weeks, hopefully you followed along with this trading strategy because I already talked about this trading strategy right around these lows just here. And I actually added to that position around here, which I mentioned publicly here on the channel very transparently. And so that dip right there was actually a secondary opportunity to enter into a long position, which I actually shared here on the channel that I was adding to this long position around this dip. But for anyone that just found this channel in literally the last 1 day, so basically if you missed this move right here, then do not worry, there will always be more trading opportunities. For example, if we actually see a continued pullback in that scenario, I may add more to that position at some lower prices, which I will share if I do that. But that is why it's important to subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I literally share these trading opportunities when I'm taking the opportunities. And if you want to take trades just like this for yourself to make a lot of easy profits in crypto, make sure to check out this exchange, which I'm trading on right now, which is Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it will take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position. But you can only actually claim this extra bonus and that extra deposit bonus that I just mentioned if you actually use the link down below this video to make a Bybit account. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I will also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if you want extra real-time updates throughout the day on my Bitcoin trades, I did actually just post an Instagram story over on my Instagram just yesterday, the moment I was taking some profits from this trade right here. And so once again, if you want to get those extra updates, check out my Instagram, which I'll leave a link to down below this video, and watch out for impersonators because there's a lot of impersonators out there. So this is my only real Instagram, which is the only Instagram that's actually linked down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and we can still see a lot of liquidity, billions of dollars of liquidity sitting right at around 67,500 approximately. And as I've been saying over and over again here on the channel, that's a major price target to pay attention to. I said that's going to attract the price of Bitcoin towards that level very soon, which we've exactly seen as expected. But like I also warned about in my last video, I said because there's billions of dollars of liquidity, billions of dollars of short positions that could get liquidated at that level right there, that means there's going to be big players wanting to defend the price of Bitcoin or stop the price of Bitcoin actually reaching that level, at least in the short term. And so once again, what we are seeing right now is the big players defending that level on the chart. We're seeing a bit of a short-term pullback, which is something that I talked about in my last video before this even happened. And so once again, just in the short term, as in potentially over the next couple of days or so, we may continue to see a bit of a short-term pullback of some sort, but ultimately the trend is starting to look more bullish on the larger timeframes here. And so in my opinion, it's inevitable that at some point the price will cross above that liquidation level to liquidate all of those short positions. But before we see that happen, we might end up seeing a bit of a short-term pullback or sideways consolidation first. Basically, this short-term bearish divergence playing out in the short term. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now the price of ETH is running into this critical level of support again, which is the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support sitting just underneath 2.9k, or more specifically around 2860 to 2870. And as I've said over and over again here on the channel, that is a critical level of support on the larger timeframes, because if we actually see a confirmed break below that level, then in that case, the next major retracement level to the downside is sitting at around 2,500. And if we're taking a look at the daily time frame, right now the price of ETH is still technically in a short-term bearish trend. So unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum has not yet formed any new higher lows or higher highs or broken out from this falling wedge. And in case you're wondering, this support line for the falling wedge is sitting at around 2830, and this line of resistance is sitting at around 3220. And so once again, at least in the short term, the price of ETH is trending more bearish than bullish, unlike Bitcoin at the moment. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is retracing back into this critical area of support, sitting in between 2850 to 2950. And so like I've been saying over the last couple of days, at least in the somewhat shorter term here, the price is actually looking relatively neutral, basically chopping around sideways with no real trend in the imminent short term here, because essentially the price is currently lacking momentum. We're basically in this larger choppy sideways price range, at least for now. But obviously if we start breaking below this support, then we could potentially return to some lower levels, as I've mentioned recently here on the channel. And if we're zooming into the imminent short term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, obviously just over the last one day, the price of ETH played out a bullish relief from this bullish divergence on the 4-hour chart and is now basically playing out some more choppy sideways price action. And so once again, these are the most common outcomes from a bullish divergence, either a bullish relief or choppy sideways price action, basically up and down type of price action. And so like I've already been saying over the last few days, in the imminent short term, we're most likely going to see some choppy sideways price action, which has been playing out exactly as expected. But if we start breaking below this critical level of support, then we could potentially start flipping much more bearish. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 12-hour time frame, just over the last one day, we did actually see a 12-hour candle close just above this line of resistance, which was sitting at around 160. But at the time of recording this video, we're now seeing a pullback in the short term, potentially about to invalidate this breakout. Because basically, if we see this candle close back below 160, then that would essentially invalidate the breakout to the upside and invalidate that potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. And in that case, if this short-term pullback continues, as for support, we do have a little bit of support in this price range based on previous resistance sitting in between 150 to 155, but we have more support in between 141 to 144 and a significant area of support in between 120 to 128. And as for short-term resistance, we still have a lot of resistance around here, sitting in between around 167 to 172. But like I've already been saying just recently here on the channel, the price of Solana, like Ethereum at the moment, is kind of lacking momentum, at least in the short term, which is why we've been seeing a lot of choppy sideways price action, especially over the last 1 month or so. But if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to make profit from crypto, know how to trade these moves in the price of crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways like Solana at the moment, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.